Namaste. Welcome to the third episode of Accomplished Women series by Thought Habitat Speaks. We already covered two women entrepreneurs who achieved big in a very short span of time. Well, achieving big need not be in a very short span of time. It could even be something which is more persistent, something which has been there for a very long time. When I say long time, it could be years and even decades. And our guest today is one such person who gave in her effort to achieve big quite persistently without losing her hope. And now here she is as a senior publicist giving measurable impact to major brands in India. Please welcome Sonali Frey Kapoor, a senior publicist and the founder of the Hatch Project. Sonali, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone.
So, Sonali, I'm quickly jumping on to my first question. So, the world of public relations and media communication has been women dominated. In fact, yesterday we had a conversation with uh, another women entrepreneur. She was telling that women are more creative, and that is why the world of fashion and interior designing is more dominated by women. But in my opinion, other than fashion and interior designing, communication, media communication especially, and public relations especially, has been pretty well dominated by women largely, right? So,
True.
and this also says that in the earlier days, even in the earlier days, we had a fair share of women and men working, and yet women had an upper hand because they were in large numbers here. Yeah. And you come with 2 decades of experience in this industry, which is quite marvelous. So would you like to define the difference when you started your career as a publicist and how has it transformed in the recent days?
Sure. The times when I started, it was more on to grasp and learn. And why I say that definitely women are more creative to look at, and it is being our industry is being dominated by female publicists because of the persistence of women to really grasp the subject and the communication. See, communication is the main channel per se. So even in the times when I started, we were more like trainees to look at, where we used to seek up to senior journalists, and also the ones who were trainee at that time to understand that how the rhythm actually goes into each publication as well, understanding each industry. So there is where what I felt, we had other male colleagues also. Nothing going anything personal for someone, but it is more about the persistence which a female publicist holds of communicating in a more expressive way, and without diluting the subject or any per se guidelines which are there which have to be marked across. The way it is being communicated from then to now, it has definitely evolved, but the way of expressing things across without having any kind of fluctuation in the approach to the media, I think definitely women publicists have made their mark to it. And if you see the top 10 also across the world, you would see majorly women leading on to those. The times when I started, for me, it happened to me. PR happened to be. My mom wanted me to be a teacher, but then I was like, okay, what happened to me being a student? Like nothing great. Where is geography, physics, and all? Like later they do come as a part and parcel, but then it was like understanding what to educate people on the ground reality of what is happening. So that was something which kept me going and is still on. And I think that's something which I love doing too. But from earlier days to now, the content quality, one coverage coming across in a print publication and now it is coming online, it does not give you that cheer. Your coverage is being covered across in New York Times print, you're getting that clip. That is something, which used to be there and now it is just an online link, which definitely has evolved with time. And I'm not saying that it has happened because of pandemic. It was before pandemic also. We could see the reflections of this vibration coming across, where online became more dominant than the print, and then definitely 2020 happened to all of us. But the earlier times were more like a hardworking phase where everything is on you to look at. Now we have a lot of other platforms. The digitalization has evolved, the globalization has happened to a different level altogether, where it's just like, if you really have to take an example, I was going through this interview of these two sisters of Kareena Kapoor and Karishma Kapoor, where they were actually mentioning across in Karishma Kapoor's times. How were the amenities which were being given to her and also the pay packages and what is being given to Karina now. So similarly, it is across industries, like what exposure even people had at that time. Let be brands per se. For them, five coverages coming across quality publications, quality mattered at that time. But with the evolving times, whereas the quality is there, the digital platforms, the influencers, the way the whole gamut has gone across, I feel somewhere the respect which we people hold for print has somewhere lost in the client's expectations which are there. So there's a whole different ball game altogether to from what we started, and I feel PR is evolving every minute, every day as we breathe. There is something or the other, which is coming across, which is definitely out of the box. People say they are marketing campaigns which are out of the box, but definitely not. They are the PR pegs, which actually be the game changer per se to look at of how, a journalist would want to showcase the whole subject about. So definitely it has evolved drastically. It's just like, you have put down the sandbar upside down. It is completely different to what it was earlier. But it is more exciting, where earlier we did not used to live on Google Alert Live, but now
Mhm.
they are again part of our lives. Masks and webinars just came in 2020, but I think since a decade we all have been living on a Google Alert Live to look at.
Exactly. And I totally agree with the fact that you said, I mean, the pleasure of looking at your name in a newspaper or a magazine is like so treasury, you know? Yeah, even now, like the first article which got published in a newspaper which I wrote as a student journalist, I still remember the time. I was so happy because my friends themselves called me and said, "Hey, dude, I saw your article in Hindu. How come you wrote it? How come you got published?" And that pleasure we really don't get in online publications. I totally agree with
Absolutely.
that.
I would like to share something very personal. I started Hatch Project 3 years back, understanding that okay, what next? That you have reached a senior position, you're drawing a great salary, but then being a publicist to the heart and soul of who I am, it was just like what next? What more? How can you evolve more? Because you have developed brands, you have built brands, and they're doing pretty well. With your organization also there comes a limit with the investors that you can't expand more to look at, and what are the new pegs and till how long can you exhaust. It's been a decade exhausting the same subject per se. So when I started my company, definitely it did happen to me. I'm a first gen entrepreneur in my family, and yes, my first client, actually, Mr. Harshvardhan Neotia, we happened to be sharing he was just sitting right next to me in an aircraft. And he saw my article in one of the publications which he had, and he recognized. And that was also one time, when I felt that, print still holds that substance from where we all started.
Yes.
And also, when a publicist who has been working with an organization starts their own organization, there are too many eyeballs around, the prospect clients, your owners, your journalist friends, everyone around to see that which is going to be your first coverage, which is going to come across with what you're doing. And believe you me, that was a time where I think I had sleepless nights because we had one media peg which was out, and I think I was on cloud nine because it was a cover story which was by Forbes for a double spread. And I was like, okay, it was not just the brands, but it is how you present the brands till today's date, also, even considering the journalists around. So I still feel the old journalists whom we have from the print, they still, hold the same core values from what we have learned, what PR is all about. So definitely, there is no match to the pleasure which a publicist, I would say, like people like us who have been in the game since like a decade or more than 2 decades old, they still enjoy the prints. Let it be a snippet coming across than articles on the blogs per se or online stuff.
And my next question, Sonali. So you have 2 decades of experience, and that is something really marvelous. And you work with different industries, right? So would you like to share your experience of working in these industries?
Yes, I would pick up two examples per se. One would be hospitality, and then I will also pick up fintech. They're two different sectors altogether. It's been said that that you have to be specific to what industries you're working with and you're working for. Whereas I believe very strongly that PR is just about communicating the thing which actually fits into the platform where you're pitching across. So it's more important, let be any magazine or let be any influencer engagement also. It needs to resonate to what you're pitching across. Understanding the industries per se, where we talk about sector which is hospitality, which is more driven onto lifestyle and profiling and talking about the subject or what's sitting on the menu or what's the new trend per se. Whereas on the other hand, it is more about the number game. You are only talking about numbers in fintech and how the technology is moving across, where you are actually talking about a recharge card, which gives you entitlement from a 500 rupee to a 5 CR just with one transaction. So, channelizing the communication is the key. Than what your subject is. Subject would be definitely there, but understanding the industry, you do not need 2 decades to understand any industry. And this definitely happened to me in the first year of starting Hatch, where we had brands who were working with big giants from last 20, 22 years, and they were apprehensive of working with us, but they wanted to work with us. Why they wanted to work with us? Because they defined this term for us, which was the new gen PR. And I was like, wow, this is really fascinating. What is this about? You tell me. Then my client actually explained me that what their 2 decade old agency has been doing and what do we, actually have proposed them on the table. Because I truly feel that it is always the fresh perspective which you make. Because everyone knows about the brand, but it is just that the zing which you're going to get, that why will an onlooker hold to the attention? Why would a journalist want that piece to be a part of their publication where you have other 10 competing brands also? So I think the best decision ever taken as my professional career was to evolve and explore the unexplored which was there, considering different industries. We do legal, we do fintech, we do education. Lifestyle and luxury hospitality remains to be very close to my heart because that is something which I have been doing for the longest time. But then working with the channels like Colors, working with teams like Endemol, making it to Netflix or this Amazon Primes. They have been part of PR, but in a very different way. So, evolving PR to different segments and sectors has been the most exciting thing to look at. But definitely not that, okay, you are in a mood to do this, so you will do this. It's something like how people now check Instagram. You need to really know the pulse of that industry per se to look at. It. I always tell my colleagues at office that if you really want to do something, just make sure that you are living it for that while that it can survive. So if you think that you are living it only for a day, then you will only survive it for a day. If you're living it every minute of your life, let be irrespective of what industry you're doing, it would be there for the longest time as much as your commitment towards it is. So exploring different industries has been the best thing which I felt as a decision for personal growth. And what feedback we get is the versatility of content, which and the media strategies which we put on the table to the clients to look at.
And Sonali, my next question. So you just explained about the difference between the print media and the digital PR exodus that's going up now, right? Uh, in the world where social media is dominating now, especially with Instagram, Snapchat, and then we have like TikTok was a phenomenon, but anyway, the Indian government had to ban it for several reasons. And then like we have similar apps like TikTok, like it can be Metro or whatever, you know. And more than everything, Facebook stands on top of it still, like wherein people from all the tier 2, tier 3, 4 cities, and even the ones from small villages and hamlets are accessing Facebook more nowadays. And apart from that, Twitter trending is again a fact which is impacting a lot. It is really impacting the way PR is done nowadays, I see, right? So how would you like to, I mean, you cannot compare both of them, but when you see that effort you put in to get your news published in a newspaper, in a very high profile newspaper like Hindu or TOI, and again like instantly getting something published through some influencers in all these platforms, and then creating a buzz around that way, you know what is your opinion on that? Like, both of it is
Well,
good, or how would you like to define that?
to be very honest, not that we do not engage with influencers, we do engage with influencers, but we internally as a company also have certain set criteria and there are lines which are drawn till what extent we would also be open to explore with an influencer. However, the demanding world which has been around us with the set of clients, I definitely feel that the point of purchase is definitely not the Instagram handle of an influencer. For sure, there are certain influencers whom I really follow. I buy products, certain products, through following through certain people whom I know. But definitely, it's actually the job of a PR who defines that who is the influencer and who is not the influencer to look at. For example, like there are a lot of people who send me PR parcels. Why? Because I have some 10,000 people on LinkedIn, 20, 30 on Instagram, and Facebook, some 800 people, 8,000 people. But they are like my circle since over the years. Not that it has happened because I have been talking about products or anything. For me, definitely PR holds the same stand for the coverages coming in publications or magazines. The thing which we as publicists really loved watching online in pandemic definitely was the platforms like India Today Group coming on their Instagram. Now, for us, it is not about the number of followers there. It's about who is actually watching it across. Something which has been up on a VC circle to look at than something, which influencer is going to talk about. There's no match. There are no strings attached to something. They're different entities altogether. And definitely, globalization and digitalization has happened. It has literally just boomed the whole social media gamut. And every minute, you're watching something, people, I feel that even the influencers, they don't know how to even use their content that wisely. Like you're using some 10,000 hashtags. Do you even know those 10 hashtags or 10,000 hashtags are going to work or not? But then definitely there are certain set of influencers who are there in the market, who definitely are the game changers per se. For me, these influencers may be someone who's from a daily life routine, who's influencing their own certain set of people. But the way it has changed now, how people are perceiving influencers, one, they are not the media people. That is something very important which people need to understand. PR is definitely different. PR adds to your brand equity. Influencers add to your Instagram account. You once associating with one of the influencers, I don't want to name them, you may would have paid them 4 5 lakh rupees for one post. They have not increased your brand equity. When you're going to sit on the table for franchising or for an investment on the table, they're going to actually see your coverages, not your Instagram post or the feeds which you have sent your PR parcels for. So this is a so there are short term goals and then there are long term goals with every brand per se. Looking at the millennial set of entrepreneurs which have come across, the new startups which are there, few of them they have immediate goals and then they do have their long term goals where they understand that where influencer engagement has to be plugged in and how much you need to invest onto it. Let be time, let be giving them space of that content, and then comes the remuneration which you're giving to them. But it's the other way around. It's first about what money are you paying them, then no one thinks that on your platform you are giving someone that space to be talked about your product or about your services. It's more important that whom are you giving the space in your brand portfolio, because at the end of the day people are going to talk. Like when we talk about a long term goal, how are you associating your brand with an XYZ influencer? So for me, people say that they come on Netflix, they're very popular, 1 million views and 1 million followers. But for me, I would rather go with someone who's more like an Amazon verified influencer, because who is following him is actually buying on Amazon. And how you look at it as a very different level on engagement, not how they are promoting themselves by taking money from you only and then promoting their content only. So it's a vicious circle which is there, which I very strongly feel is gonna actually crash down in coming 2 3 years maximum to look at, because uh, definitely there was a boom in 2020 because the print was stopped, the print run was stopped, and all what was there was online. Though what the activity of the generation which was on social media platform wasn't that much on the online reading of newspapers. Only I think publicists were the ones who were reading online newspapers or sharing the clips. But print still holds that authenticity. It's just like reading a book from a book than reading through Kindle. It is very old school, but then people who understand the game of expansion, they really do not run behind influencers. Like we have lifestyle clients, we have clients from education, different set of industries. The ones who have long-term goals, if it is being explained to them on what is actually going to be as a value add to them on a short-term goal and on a long-term goal, they do understand the value of print over the influencer gamut which is going on. But then there are definitely certain demanding clients also, who particularly want that person who has been just talking about something which is not even relevant to the industry, but they want them to be seen here because it's a popular place and that's why they have also come across. So and they want to charge for that. So one, we do not advocate much on paying on to something which you believe on. Like we do not pay when we get editorials placed. It is advertisement then. So the way this has been explained to the clients, especially the startups, they buy it now. They buy it because they do understand that for a longer run, to look at, it is definitely what the coverage will hold across. Today someone is an influencer, tomorrow that person would not be at that level. So it is not the redemption right now to look at. For your short term goal, for a limited campaign, you get the ROIs. And looking at all of those things, we have case studies where we have also understood that someone with a 1 million follower may not, is not going to give you and has not given you that number of swipe ups or sale or the link clicks what someone only had some 9,000 followers but exactly the relevant followers, and you got somewhere around about 82% of hit rate on that. So when you show numbers, considering, yes, I have been a person who has always been counting on numbers to look at, let be print coverage or let be influencer engagement. If you justify the number of the ROI, basically the ROI numbers to look at than just a click or just reaching on the landing page. It's not an influencer for you to look at. It's not an influencer for your product to look at. So for me, digitalization and the globalization has really boomed it, like it just bursted, like that way. And we all witnessed that we all made influencers multimillionaires in 2020 for sure.
Absolutely right. And Sonali, one last question. So, what are the near future disruptions or the transformations in the market that we can expect, and which is going to change the game altogether? Do you see something of that sort coming up?
Oh, yes, I would definitely see. I would not talk about the world outside my office, but I would talk about the industries which we are catering to. Everyone has understood the game has changed. Everyone has understood. I'm not going to use the PR jargons because I really want people to understand how we actually perceive what our clients also say, because they don't use the PR jargons. Uh, People have understood this very small thing, that the game has changed. You need to evolve every minute to understand that what is the thought process going on of the customer. The communication platforms, channels, and the content which has to be put it across has to be done that smartly, because every content which is going out, let it be on your social media, let it be on a online platform with any publication, or let be print, it's an opportunity which is there because the viewership has increased. Let be online, let be print, or let be anywhere to look at. And if you do not come something which is interesting, psychologically you cannot grasp anyone's attention, because there's so much content which has gone online. There is so much content which is out and about. Definitely the changing times now has made everyone think through beyond what they used to. To be very honest, my team itself internally, we do more of a offline scene where actually it's about disconnecting to connect with the subject. You have to disconnect from the mainstream to understand that what is it that's going to connect like bang on. And these are the media pegs which we personally play on the content front. But people were not much into podcast earlier. Now that has become like really out and about. YouTube has come really about. And 2021 henceforth is very promising for the startups which are there, definitely for even the organizations which have been there into the existence from last 20 years also, because this is a time where you break the chain. Because you understand that the way people were actually responding across through is now changed. Now there's a different perception value which they consider across. We people also as publicists, we have been really trying hard, to come up with something new which is out of the box. But now when we see that the whole world has evolved with what happened to this unprecedented change which was there, everyone is open. It's in PR, it's the most important thing is how open are you to accept the newness which is being presented to you. That is the key, even while we are presenting it to a media house or it to be a client, that this is how we want to position it across. If that newness is not acceptable, if the perception which you are trying to communicate through media is not acceptable, then it becomes little tricky. There are people who are still old school, sitting into big old firms where they really want to go through, the simple platform and not explore across. But with the changing times now, everyone has become that open to explore. So there is a lot of great content which will go across. I was just going through something very interesting on one of the Instagram platform. He's not an influencer, he's just a wordsmith for me, who was someone into content, lost his job, got onto Instagram, and he's been writing great content. And one of the brands have actually hired him to just write captions. Now, for me, that is content. For me, that is something which was more evolved. That is something which is coming with a fresh perspective. It is not an influencer wearing your clothes and just dancing. It's not that. It's something which is holding your attention for a few seconds, which talks about your product, which is in two lines, is actually talking about the authenticity of the product and also the longevity of the brand. To look at that, the brand has been there into existence, and this is something, which is the new punch to offer. And that's how the content is evolving. It is very important to say that, how the pace of the whole industry where we are breathing in is, because it's simple. If you are not presenting something which is fresh and new, you may be lost in the whole, let be in the print space also. And the best thing which has happened is the newness of uh, market understanding. People are now open to explore because they have seen it personally with themselves, with the changing time in 2020, that if you don't change, the world is changing. So it's like run or you will have to run away. So that's something which will really gonna disrupt and create new identities per se. Digitalization is gonna change the game with the coming times more, in fact, to look at. But definitely, how people are seeing across the subject is the main thing now, because the way you look is the way you want people to perceive. And if you're not confident, you will end up confusing people. So now when the brands are confident about, the subject or which they want to present across, it actually is going to be the game changer per se across industries, because it's the communication channel where they are open to talk about now.
A really great discussion, Sonali. So I would really feel you could join us in the next sessions, in the
Sure.
subsequent sessions, and we can have a detailed conversation on the world of communication and media relations and public relations, definitely. And looking forward for more from you.
Sure. Thank you so
Thanks a
much for
lot for
having me.
joining.
Thank you. Okay. Take care. Stay safe.
You
Thanks.
too, Sonali. Thank you.